Hello and welcome back. I am Douglas from Gaijin-Eyes. In the previous tutorial I promised to explain more about the two property boxes in text styles, the face and the transform properties. I'll open the text input panel, and the text I have here already has a style applied, so I'll select the text and reset the style. Now it's plain text with no additional style features. The face parameters are found here on these buttons. If I select the text again, this is the normal face for the text. Clicking B will give me the bold face for the text. I gives me the italic face for the text in addition to the bold. I'll switch off the bold again. This is the face variation known as underbar, as well as superscript and subscript. I'll save this now. Go to Text Styles. I go to My Text Styles. Save As. I'll just call this underbar. Go back to the text input window. Reset the style. The transform variations are found here. For example, I can change the Y scale, which will change the height of the text. I could change the skew or angle on the Y-axis. I'll save this text style. I'll call it skewed. Variations to the face are made here, and variations to the transform are made here. Let's reset the style again. Go to Text Styles, switch on everything. If I choose blue, it will look like this. This one looks like this. If I switch off everything except face and transform, then go to one of the normal styles. By clicking on any style here, nothing happens. What should be changing are the face and transform settings. But nothing changes because all the supplied default text styles are set with face as normal, and the transform parameters are set to 0. Now, if I go to My Text Styles, select Transform, go to Skewed, the transform takes place. If I switch on Face and switch off transform so the skew won't change, I now end up with the face underbar appearing, like that. So that's transform and face. Before we move on from the styles palettes, I'm going to give you some homework. Yeah, you heard me correctly. You're going to get some homework. I have written the Japanese for lionfish here. Of course, you can write anything you want in your own language. I want you to make a text style which will give you this sort of effect. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors around the edge. Go back to text input, reset the style. Obviously, you are going to be working here with the edge properties. You may remember in a previous tutorial I explained that you had 5 different layers of edge. So using the possibilities here, can you make that effect? I'm going to give you a little help by showing you this diagram. In the diagram, I will switch on the T1 layer and make it blue, then the T2 and make it red, T3 and make it yellow, T4, make it green, T5 and make it purple. You should notice that although the stacking order from T1 to T5 in the input window has T1 on top and T5 on the bottom, in actual fact the layers appear with T1 on the bottom and T5 on the top. You have to take this into consideration when you try to make the text style. So that's your homework. In the next tutorial, I'll show you how I made mine. Before leaving this tutorial, I want to give you a little tip about organizing your font styles. I'll go here to the font menu so you can see that in my case I have rather a lot of fonts. Scrolling up and down here looking for fonts is not always the easiest way to find them. An easier way, as we described in a previous tutorial, would be to create a My Fonts folder with thumbnails of all the fonts. This makes things a little easier as you can see more fonts at the same time, but you still have to scroll up and down to find the fonts. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just select your text, go to Font Styles, and instead of having this whole collection of fonts to sift through, you have more than one font folder to choose from. For example, Big Bold, BB. And then you could just change to a Big Bold font. Or maybe if you wanted something fancy, open the Fancy folder and you could have the fancy fonts. How would I go about setting up these special folders? Let's take a look at how I do it. First of all, I'll leave BCC Title Studio. I'll open a window on my desktop. Using the same path I showed you in tutorial number 2, I'll go to the C drive, Program Data, Boris Effects, Continuum AE, BCC 11, Presets, and Styles. Now I'll open a second window and find the same folder. Program Data, Boris Effects, Continuum AE, BCC 11, Presets, and Styles. Looking in the font styles, you can see I already have my fonts folder, which has thumbnails of every font I have on my computer. Now I'll make 3 new folders. One of them I'll call BB for Big and Bold, one will be Fancy, and finally Swiss for my Swiss font family. On the left, I'll go to My Font Styles and open My Fonts. Here are all the fonts I have in my font directory. Over here, I'll open Big Bold. I will now select some fonts which I know are big and bold. For example, Black Oak, Bodoni Black, Cooper Black, Eras Bold, Franklin Gothic Heavy, and one more, Impact. Obviously, this takes a little time, but once it's done and you don't have to redo it. Drag those fonts across here. At this point, you can choose to either move the fonts to the new folder, which I don't usually do, or you can hold down Control so you will copy them to this folder. That means I'll be leaving the originals in the main My Fonts folder. This is the way I prefer to do it. So there we have them. We go to Fancy, and I'll select some fancy fonts. Alexei Copperplate is one. Blackadder is another. Bradley Hand, Chiller, Curls, Edwardian, and Gigi. Again, drag them across. Hold down Control to copy them there. Finally, the whole family of Swiss fonts. If I go down, 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 here are the many Swiss fonts I have, all the way down to here, and I drag them across, Control, and copy them. Now, if I launch Title Studio again, we'll use the Boris Effects text, go to Font Styles. Here are my fonts again, with many styles. But let's say I want to change this to some fancy font. Now I can find them here. Or if I wanted a really big and bold font, I can easily find them. And of course, if I want to use my Swiss family of fonts, I have them all here to choose from. So this is one way that you can actually set up other folders with font styles, where you can select the styles that you use a lot or that you need for a specific job. Don't forget your homework. I'll show you my answer at the beginning of the next tutorial. That's all for now. Bye.